You've been told that creating the life you want requires hard work, discipline, grinding it out day after day, following the steps, doing all the right things. And maybe you've tried, maybe you've set the goals, written the affirmations, visualized your dreams. Maybe you've read the books, taken the courses, followed the gurus. But here's what nobody talks about: you're still stuck. The relationship you wanted didn't show up. The financial breakthrough never came. The version of yourself you were trying to become still feels like a stranger. And the worst part? You don't know why. You did everything right. You followed the formula, so what went wrong? Let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. The reason you haven't created the reality you want has nothing to do with your effort. It has nothing to do with your worthiness, and it has nothing to do with the universe ignoring you. The problem is this: you've been operating from the wrong model of reality. You've been living in a Newtonian world, believing that your external circumstances control your internal state, that you need something to happen out there before you can feel a certain way in here, that cause and effect work in a straight line, and all you can do is push harder against the immovable walls of your life. But what if I told you that model is outdated? What if I told you that at the quantum level, the level where reality is actually being created, everything works completely differently? What if the key to creating your reality isn't about doing more, but about being more? Not about changing what's outside, but about shifting what's inside. Here's the truth most people never hear. You are living inside a quantum field right now. A field that is infinite in possibility. A field that responds not to your effort, but to your energy. Not to what you're doing, but to who you're being. And once you understand how this field actually works, everything changes. Now, if you saw yesterday's video, the quantum you, who are you at the deepest level? You already know that you're not just a physical body, your consciousness observing reality into form. Today, we're taking that understanding further. We're exploring how to actually use that power to create the life you want. So let's start here. Let me explain something about quantum physics that changes everything. Quantum physics is what I call nonsense. And I mean that literally. It doesn't make sense to your senses because your senses were designed to perceive a Newtonian reality. A reality where objects are solid, separate, and unchanging. A reality where time moves in one direction and space defines where things are. But quantum physics reveals a different truth. At the quantum level, nothing is solid. Everything is energy. Everything is possibility. And here's the kicker. Your senses are not perceiving reality. They're perceiving the end result of reality after it's already been created. Think about that for a moment. Your eyes don't see the quantum field. They see the collapsed wave, the materialized outcome, the finished product, which means if you're waiting to see something before you believe it can happen, you're already operating from the wrong end of the creative process. You're trying to create from the effect, not the cause. So here's where most people get stuck. They're trying to create a new future while still being defined by their past. They're trying to manifest abundance while feeling poor. They're trying to attract love while carrying the energy of unworthiness. And the quantum field doesn't care what you want. It only responds to what you are. Now, to access this field, to actually step into the place where reality is being created, you have to temporarily let go of three things. I call them the big three. And this is where it gets uncomfortable for most people. Because what I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught. To create a new reality, you must let go of your environment, let go of your body, and let go of time. Let me explain what I mean. First, your environment. Every morning you wake up and you look at the same bedroom, the same partner, the same problems, the same reflection in the mirror, and all of those external things remind you of who you are. They define you. They anchor you to a particular identity. But here's the paradox. If you want to change your environment, you have to stop being defined by it. You have to stop letting the outer world tell you who you are. Because as long as your sense of self comes from what's around you, you'll keep creating more of the same. Second, your body. Your body is a record of the past. Every sensation, every ache, every feeling of tension or tiredness, it's all based on yesterday. And when you're constantly aware of your body, you're constantly being reminded of who you were, not who you're becoming. To create something new, you have to move beyond the body. You have to stop being so focused on the physical that you forget you're more than physical. You have to become no body, pure consciousness without the limitation of matter. And third time, most people live in one of two places, either trapped in the memories of their past or anxiously projecting into a predictable future. Either way, they're not here. They're not in the present moment where the quantum field actually exists. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. The only place creation actually occurs is now. And to access that now, you have to let go of your addiction to time. So here's the radical shift I'm asking you to make. To change your environment, you must become no thing, not defined by anything external. To change your body, you must become no body, pure awareness without physical limitation. To change your future, you must become no time, fully present in the eternal now. I know this sounds abstract. I know it sounds impossible, but here's what nobody tells you. You've already done this. You've already experienced this state. You just didn't realize what it was. Think about a time when you were driving and you got so lost in thought that you forgot where you were. You forgot you were driving. You forgot your body. You forgot time passing. And suddenly you arrived at your destination and thought, wait, how did I get here? That state, that's the quantum state. That's the place where you're no longer defined by your environment, your body or time. That's the place where your mind becomes more real than matter. And that's the doorway to creating a new reality. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people won't do this. Most people are so addicted to their external reality, so identified with their body, so locked into their routine that they can never access this state long enough to create anything new. They meditate for 5 minutes and then immediately check their phone. They visualize their dream life and then spend the rest of the day complaining about their current life. They try to be someone new while still thinking, feeling, and acting like the old self. And the quantum field reads that as noise, not signal. It reads that as incoherence, not intention. So my question for you is this: are you willing to let go? Are you willing to become no one, no body, no thing for long enough that something new can emerge? Because that's what it takes. Not more effort, not more doing, but more being. A different state of consciousness altogether. Now let me tell you something that will shift your entire understanding of manifestation. In the quantum model, there's a principle called the observer effect. Here's how it works. Particles exist in a state of infinite possibility until they're observed. The moment you observe them, the wave of possibility collapses into a single reality. Which means consciousness doesn't just perceive reality. Consciousness creates reality. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant. Your attention, your focus, your awareness, these are not neutral. They are creative forces. They are collapsing waves of possibility into material form every single moment. But here's where most people misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about focusing on what they want and then waiting for it to show up. They think it's about visualizing the car, the house, the relationship, and then hoping the universe delivers. That's not how it works. That's still operating from the Newtonian model. That's still believing that your internal state is separate from your external reality. In the quantum model, you don't wait for reality to change so you can feel different. You feel different now, and reality changes to match. Let me say that again because this is critical. You don't wait for the evidence to feel grateful. You feel grateful first, and then the evidence appears. You don't wait for success to feel confident. You embody confidence now, and success follows. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. So if you're living in a state of lack, of frustration, of waiting for something external to make you feel complete, you're broadcasting that signal into the field. And the field will reflect it back to you as more lack, more frustration, more waiting. But the moment you change your state, the moment you become the energy of what you desire, the field has no choice but to reorganize around you. So let's go deeper. Let's talk about how this actually works at the level of energy. Every thought you think sends an electrical signal through your brain and into the quantum field. Every emotion you feel sends a magnetic signal that draws certain experiences toward you. Together, your thoughts and emotions create what scientists call an electromagnetic signature. And that signature is what the quantum field reads. That signature is what determines what shows up in your life. Here's the problem. Most people have mismatched signals. They think one thing and feel another. They say they want abundance, but they feel scarcity. They visualize health, but they live in stress. They affirm love, but they carry resentment. And when your thoughts and emotions are out of alignment, you're sending mixed signals into the field. It's like tuning a radio to two stations at once. All you get is static. But when your thoughts and emotions are coherent, when they're aligned, unified, broadcasting the same message, that's when you become powerful. That's when you become magnetic. That's when reality starts to shift. And let me give you an example. I once knew a woman, let's call her my grandmother, who spent years trying to create a better life for herself. She would pray every day for a new beginning. She would ask for relief from her guilt, for freedom from her past, for a chance to start over. But here's what was happening. While she was asking for a new life, she was feeling guilty. While she was praying for freedom, she was emotionally anchored in shame. Her thoughts said new beginning, but her emotions said, I don't deserve it. And the quantum field didn't respond to her prayers. It responded to her state. So what did she attract? More reasons to feel guilty, more situations that confirmed she wasn't worthy, more evidence that she couldn't escape her past, not because the universe was punishing her, but because her electromagnetic signature was tuned to the frequency of guilt, and the field delivered a perfect match. This is what I mean by coherence. Your power to create comes not from what you think or what you want, but from the alignment between your mind and your heart, between your intention and your energy. Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's talk about the difference between the Newtonian model and the quantum model, because this is where most people are still operating from the old paradigm without even realizing it. In the Newtonian model, your environment controls you. Something happens out there and you react in here. Your boss yells at you, so you feel stressed. You get a raise, so you feel happy. Your partner leaves, so you feel heartbroken. Cause and effect, stimulus and response. The outer world determines the inner world, but in the quantum model, it's reversed. Your inner world creates your outer world. You change your state first, and then your environment reorganizes to reflect it. You feel abundant before the money comes. You feel loved before the relationship appears. You embody success before the promotion happens. And this is why most people fail at manifestation. They're waiting for something external to change so they can feel different internally. They're trying to create from the effect, not the cause. But the quantum field doesn't work that way. The field responds to your state of being, not your state of wanting. It responds to who you are, not who you wish you were. So the question becomes, can you change your state without any evidence? Can you feel wealthy when your bank account is empty? Can you feel loved when you're alone? Can you feel healthy when your body is sick? Because that's the test. That's where most people break. They say, I'll believe it when I see it. But the quantum model says, you'll see it when you believe it. Let me ask you something. Right now, in this moment, what signal are you sending into the quantum field? Are you broadcasting lack or abundance, fear or trust, limitation or possibility? Because every single moment you're creating. You're not waiting to create. You're not preparing to create. You're actively collapsing waves of possibility into form based on the energy you're holding. And most people are unconsciously creating the same reality over and over again, because they're unconsciously being the same person over and over again. Same thoughts, same emotions, same state, same signal. They wake up as the same person, go through the same routine, react to the same problems, feel the same feelings, and then wonder why their life never changes. But here's the empowering truth. The moment you become conscious of your state, you gain the power to change it. The moment you realize you're broadcasting a signal, you can choose a different frequency. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You can change your state right now. And the moment you do, the quantum field begins reorganizing around you. Now let me tell you about one of the most powerful secrets in quantum creation. It's something called gratitude before the event. Most people practice gratitude after they receive something. They get the job, then they feel grateful. They meet the person, then they feel thankful. They achieve the goal, then they celebrate. But in the quantum model, you feel grateful before anything happens. You live in the emotion of the wish fulfilled before there's any evidence in your outer world. Why? Because gratitude is the ultimate signal that you've already received. It's the frequency of having, not wanting, of completion, not lack, of trust, not desperation. When you feel grateful for something before it appears, you're telling the quantum field, this is already done. I'm not waiting for it. I'm living as if it's already here. And the field has no choice but to match that signal. But here's what's uncomfortable about this. It requires you to feel emotions that your current reality doesn't support. It requires you to trick your body into believing something has happened that hasn't happened yet. It requires you to live in a state of contradiction, where your inner world and outer world are completely mismatched, and your body will resist, your logical mind will resist, your entire past will resist. But if you can hold that state long enough, if you can live in gratitude and joy and abundance before there's any reason to, you become a magnet for those experiences. You become the very frequency you wish to attract. This is the difference between wishing and creating, between hoping and knowing, between trying and being. Now, let me show you how this works in real life. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates everything I've been saying. A few years ago, my daughter had a dream. She wanted to spend her summer in Italy. Not just visiting for a week, but actually living there, working there, immersing herself in the culture. She wanted to visit 6 different cities over 6 weeks. She wanted to spend the final week in Florence, her favorite city. She wanted to be paid for the work she was doing, and she wanted to return home with half the summer still left to enjoy. It was a specific vision, a clear intention, and she held it with absolute certainty. So she started practicing what I'm teaching you. She didn't just think about Italy. She didn't just visualize being there. She became the person who had already lived that experience. Every day she would close her eyes and put herself in that Italian summer. She would see the streets, smell the food, hear the language, feel the warmth of the sun on her skin. She made it so real in her mind that her brain couldn't tell the difference between imagination and reality. And more importantly, she felt the emotions of already having lived it. The joy, the gratitude, the fulfillment, the sense of adventure and aliveness. She didn't wait to feel those emotions after the trip happened. She felt them now, as if it had already occurred. She lived in the end result. But here's where it gets tricky. Because at the same time she was doing this inner work, her logical mind was trying to figure out the how. How would this actually happen? What program would she join? How much would it cost? She found a study abroad program. It was $7,000, too expensive. She kept looking. She found another one, $4,000, still too much. And the more she searched, the more frustrated she became. Because she was trying to control the how. She was trying to force the outcome through logical, predictable means. So I told her something that changed everything. I said, stop trying to figure out how it's going to happen. Your job isn't to orchestrate the details. Your job is to hold the state. Keep living as if you're already there. Keep feeling the emotions of the wish fulfilled. And let the quantum field arrange the circumstances. In other words, let go of control, surrender the how. Trust that if you become the energy of what you desire, the field will deliver it in ways you can't predict, can't plan, and can't imagine. So she did. She stopped searching for programs. She stopped trying to figure it out. She just kept living in the feeling of being in Italy every single day. And then something remarkable happened. One day, completely out of nowhere, she received an email. A professor at her university was looking for a student to teach conversational English to American college students who would be studying in Italy that summer. They needed someone for 6 weeks. They would visit 6 different cities. The final week would be in Florence. She would be paid for her work, and she would return home with half the summer left. It was exactly what she had been living in her mind, down to the smallest detail. But here's the key: this opportunity didn't come from her efforts. It didn't come from her searching, planning, or trying to make it happen. It came because she changed her state. She became the person who had already lived that experience, and the quantum field delivered a perfect match. She didn't find the opportunity found her. This is what I want you to understand. This is the heart of quantum creation. When you create from the quantum field, the outcome doesn't arrive in predictable ways. It doesn't follow the logical steps your mind thinks it should take. It arrives through synchronicity, through coincidence, through the seemingly random convergence of people, circumstances, and opportunities that you could never have planned. It arrives in ways that feel magical, ways that make you say, "There's no way I could have orchestrated this." Ways that remind you that you're not creating alone. You're co-creating with an intelligence far greater than your limited personal will. And that's how you know it's real. That's how you know you've truly tapped into the quantum field. Not because you worked harder, not because you followed the steps, but because something happened that was so perfectly aligned, so elegantly orchestrated, so far beyond what you could have figured out on your own that you just know it came from a deeper source. My daughter's story has 5 characteristics that are present in every quantum creation. Let me break them down for you. First, it was unpredictable. She didn't find a program online and sign up. She didn't apply through the normal channels. The opportunity came from a direction she never would have thought to look. Second, it was synchronistic. The timing was perfect. The details were perfect. It aligned with her vision in ways that felt almost eerie. Third, it was effortless, not in the sense that she didn't do inner work. She absolutely did, but the outer circumstances arranged themselves without her forcing, controlling, or manipulating anything. Fourth, it was an inside-out creation. She didn't change her life and then feel fulfilled. She felt fulfilled first, and her life changed to match. Fifth, the opportunity found her. She didn't chase it. She didn't hunt it down. She simply held a state, and the right circumstances were magnetically drawn to her. This is quantum manifestation. This is what happens when you stop living from the old Newtonian model and start operating from the quantum level of reality. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop waiting for the world to change. You stop believing that your past defines your future. Instead, you realize that you are a creator, that your consciousness is the most powerful force in your life, that by changing your state, you change your reality. But here's the paradox, and this is where most people struggle. The moment you need it, you push it away. The moment you're desperate for the outcome, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack, not having. The moment you try to control how it happens, you block the quantum field from delivering it in unexpected ways. So you have to let go. You have to trust. You have to become so certain in your inner world that you're no longer attached to your outer world. You have to live in the emotion of the wish fulfilled without needing the evidence. You have to feel abundant without the money. Feel loved without the relationship. Feel successful without the recognition. And that's the ultimate test. Can you be it before you see it? Because the quantum field doesn't respond to your wanting. It doesn't respond to your trying. It doesn't respond to your desperation. It responds to your being, to your state, to the electromagnetic signature you're broadcasting in every moment. Change your energy, and you change your life. It's that simple, and it's that profound. So now I want to bring this home. I want to make this real for you. Because everything I've shared isn't just theory, it's not just philosophy. It's a practical, repeatable process that you can start using today. Let me give you 3 questions to sit with. 3 questions that will reveal exactly where you are right now in relation to the quantum field. Question 1. Who are you being in this moment? Not who you want to be, not who you're trying to be, but who are you actually being right now? As you listen to these words, are you being the person who's waiting for life to change, or the person who's already changed? Are you being someone defined by lack, or someone living in abundance. Your state in this moment is creating your reality in the next moment. So who are you choosing to be? Question 2. Is the way you're existing right now attracting what you desire? Look at your dominant thoughts. Look at your dominant emotions. Look at the way you're moving through your day. Is that energy a match for the life you say you want, or is it a match for the life you're trying to leave behind? Because the quantum field doesn't care about your words. It only cares about your vibration. Question 3. What opportunities are already waiting to find you? Not the ones you're going to chase, not the ones you're going to force, but the ones that are already on their way, waiting for you to become a vibrational match. What possibilities exist in the quantum field right now that you haven't allowed yourself to receive because you're not yet in the state to attract them? Pause with that for a moment. Really feel into it. Now let me give you the practical process, the 5 steps to quantum creation. Step 1. Enter the quantum state. This means letting go of your body, your environment, and time. It means sitting in meditation or quiet contemplation and becoming no one, no thing, no time. Just pure consciousness. This is not about escaping reality. This is about accessing the level of reality where creation actually happens. Step 2. Create the experience in your mind. Visualize what you desire in vivid detail. But don't just see it, live it. Make it so real in your mind that your brain believes it's already happening. Because when your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality, it starts wiring itself as if the event has already occurred. Step 3. Feel the emotion of the wish fulfilled. This is the most important step. You have to feel it. Not hope for it, not wish for it, but feel it as if it's already done. Gratitude, joy, relief, fulfillment. Whatever emotion would arise if your desire had already manifested, that's the emotion you cultivate now. Step 4. Live in that state. Don't just visit it for 10 minutes in meditation and then go back to being your old self. Carry that energy with you. Make decisions from that state. Respond to life from that state. Be that person throughout your day. Step 5. Surrender the how. Let go of needing to know when, where, or how it will happen. Your job is not to orchestrate the details. Your job is to hold the frequency. The quantum field will take care of the rest. And here's what I promise you. If you do this consistently, if you truly commit to becoming the energy of what you desire, reality will shift. Maybe not in the way you expect. Maybe not in the timeline you demand. But it will shift. Because it has to. Because that's how the quantum field works. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to stop living from the old model? Are you ready to stop waiting for your circumstances to change before you change? Are you ready to step into the quantum field and become a conscious creator of your reality? If something inside you is saying yes, if you felt a spark, a resonance, a recognition as you listened to this, then I want you to do something. Drop one word in the comments below. Just one word that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Abundance, love, freedom, power, trust. Whatever word represents your new state. And if you're ready to go deeper, if you want to understand why knowing all of this still isn't enough to change, then hit that subscribe button. Because this is just the beginning. Here's the uncomfortable truth I need to share with you. Right now, you understand the quantum model. You know that you're the observer. You know that consciousness creates reality. You know that changing your state changes your life. But tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up in the same bedroom. You're going to see the same face in the mirror. You're going to go to the same job, have the same conversations, react to the same problems. And your environment is going to remind you of exactly who you've always been. So in the next video, I'm going to reveal why you can't change. Even when you know you should. Why you're trapped by your environment. Why your brain is literally wired to recreate the past. And most importantly, how the greats, people like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the real quantum creators, broke free from this cycle. The video is called Why You Can't Change, Why You're Trapped by Your Environment. And it's going to show you the invisible prison most people live in without ever realizing it. Because understanding quantum physics is one thing, but breaking free from the patterns that keep you stuck, that's where the real work begins. But more than that, I want you to know this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not doing it wrong. You're simply waking up to a new model of reality. A model where you're not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of experience. A model where your past doesn't define your future. A model where anything, and I mean anything, is possible. The quantum you is waiting. The reality you desire is waiting. And the field is responding to who you're being in every single moment. So become it now, live it now, be it now, and watch as reality rearranges itself around you.